Greetings and welcome to this short video, Accommodation 101, Essential Information for Portland Community College Faculty. At a bare bones minimum, federally funded institutions must abide by the letter of the law. Disability rights are civil rights, and the key pieces that establish protections are Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act as amended. The legal mandates require that adjustments be made when a reasonable request for accommodation is made by an otherwise qualified individual who experiences a documented disability. In order to really understand the letter of the law, definitions of some of these terms are really important. A request is considered reasonable if it does not fundamentally alter a program of study or cause undue hardship, and if implementing it will not pose a danger or threat. A student is considered otherwise qualified if they meet all enrollment or admission standards and can perform all the central functions when appropriate accommodation is made. An individual is considered to be an individual with a disability if they experience a functional limitation that impacts a major life activity, or if they are regarded as having such a limitation or have a history of such a limitation. To be clear, though, the last two afford protection from discrimination, even though accommodation may not be needed. The term undue burden is sometimes interpreted in terms of budget impacts, but it's important to understand that it's the entire institutional budget that needs to be taken into account, not the budget for a particular program or department. While the definitions are important, it's also good to understand how language has evolved. From Section 504, we have no otherwise qualified handicapped individual in the United States shall, solely by reason of his handicap, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subject to discrimination under any program receiving federal financial assistance. From the ADA, we have the nation's proper goals regarding individuals with disabilities are to assure equality of opportunity, full participation, independent living, and economic self-sufficiency for persons with disabilities. Notice the shift from just preventing discrimination to actively ensuring full participation. It is a big difference, and it's useful context for understanding the spirit of the law. While the letter of the law establishes a floor, it does not establish a ceiling, meaning that institutions have the capacity to go beyond minimum expectations to create more welcoming and inclusive environments for their students. Rather than waiting for students to experience barriers, prove they experience disability, then make formal request for accommodation, the need for adjustment can be reduced proactively through elimination of barriers at the design stage. This is especially important since not everyone who experiences disability-related barriers is able to afford documentation, and those who do have documentation may still choose not to disclose due to stigma. One way to address this equity issue is to use a universal design approach, and there is a wealth of information available on the PCC website for those who want to know more. Thus, to be clear, at a minimum, faculty must understand and adhere to the accommodation process, as it is a baseline minimum requirement for us as an institution receiving federal funds. But ideally, as a community college focused on equity, we would also work to remove barriers proactively to ensure full access for our community. In terms of understanding the accommodation process, it's basically a three-step process. First, students must self-identify and establish eligibility for accommodation. Second, disability services and the student must work together to identify reasonable adjustments. Third, faculty and the student must work together to implement those accommodations in a way that is consistent with course or program objectives. It is important that faculty not accept disability documentation directly. Formal requests for accommodation should be determined through disability services. Internal consistency is very important. In terms of how the process works, DS has practitioners available to meet with students and prospective students in person, by phone, or online. We encourage early connections. Sometimes this initial connection can be the hardest. Once students have eligibility in place, they can use our online system to send notification to their instructors. Faculty receive notification via email, but can also use the dashboard to review active accommodation requests. Faculty working with students to implement should always consult with DS if there are any questions. The PCC Disability Services online system is available from our homepage, and we do use single sign-on, so it's the same password as MyPCC. We have full video tutorials for the instructor dashboard, but in essence, this allows faculty to log in and see all notification letters they have received, but also to manage specific areas. In closing, we offer a variety of professional development options for faculty to engage. In addition to these short videos, we have comprehensive resources and are always happy to engage in dialogue. Invite us to your meetings. We're happy to join you. Remember that accessibility is about attitudes as well as structure, and don't forget to check out our website. It's easy to find, pcc.edu/disability.